Let's get it moving into the last topic of the day, as it always is, which is what you've been sipping on. And it's basically any media that you have been consuming or fucking just anything that you really want to talk about. We're gonna probably switch it up a little bit on that one. But I'm going to move it over to Bailey. I know she's fucking over there talking to Katie about something, but I want to move it to Bailey because she's been so quiet.
Ultimatum.
Okay, so fucking...
We do
everything together. We have the same what you've been sipping on.
No shit, you guys are fucking engaged.
Wait, it's just called Ultimatum?
It's called The Ultimatum.
The Ultimatum?
Yep, it's about lesbians.
But these lesbians, they give an ultimatum to their significant other, and like one person wants to get married, the other doesn't want to settle down, or it's not the right time, or there's some excuse. Mm-hmm. So they all go to this house, and they all date other people, so they're considered.
Oh, it's like a hall pass type thing.
Yeah, but it's for a whole.
It makes me feel.
It's for a whole week, but after this week, you have to make the decision to go with somebody else, leave single, or go with your ex.
Oh shit.
And in this, I'm not trying to give any spoilers, but it's in the second episode. So everybody that was in a relationship, that walked into it in a relationship, are now in other relationships with other people.
So they realize they like something more?
They do a trial.
It's
a marriage trial. For 3 weeks.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
it's
lightweight
it is
from like
wild.
a theoretical fucking standpoint or whatever. I don't necessarily think that would be a bad thing to fucking
for most
help
people,
your relationship. Is what you're going through fucking with your significant other necessarily something that you are down for? Because some people get so stuck in the monotony of a relationship that they're just like, this is all I have. This is all I'm willing to do. Can I do anything else? And they go out and discover something else, and then fucking. Boom, fucking they realize that they want something.
Well, there is one girl in there that she was given the ultimatum to because she didn't want to marry. She didn't want to settle down. She wanted her freedom.
Yeah.
But she started liking this one girl. She didn't like the freedom, but she was only there because she knew that her significant other wasn't going to find somebody. Well, she did.
Yeah.
She was salty as fuck.
Yeah.
It was drama.
I mean, you can take a look at your own fucking the relationships around you, not like your own specific relationship, but like I know a lot of people, and we know a lot of people that are with people that they really should not be with, and the only reason why they will not break up is because they don't think that they can find anything else. And if you just put yourself out there and fucking find someone who fucking might be willing to fucking hang out with you a little bit, you'll realize that they're a lot better of a person, might be better for you.
It's comfortable. That's
Yeah.
why.
Yeah.
They're afraid of change.
Comfortable.
But this show makes me feel super uncomfortable.
Well, what does that say about you?
Because she doesn't want to cheat.
No.
Or maybe she does.
Wait, are you guys planning on doing this?
No.
No, I get why
Watch
it would
the
make,
next
why it would make you
season of The
uncomfortable.
Ultimatum.
Yeah.
Well, we're engaged, so that says that we're not. Like, these people want to get engaged, and their significant other does not want to. They will say no
That's why
in the
it's called
very
The
beginning.
Ultimatum.
Yeah.
But no, it makes me uncomfortable just because it's like,
Such a strange
why would
situation.
you? Yeah, why would you do that?
To
like,
just
why
thrust
would
yourself
you?
into another.
Like, I told her, I was like, I want to be with you, obviously, but like, if that happened, like, it would just make me feel weird. Like, I don't want to do that.
All right, go.
The whole show just makes me feel uncomfortable because
feel icky.
I don't know why you would want to put yourself in that situation. To, like, yes, there are so many. How many people are there in this
and
world?
sorry, the fucking
Almost
audio
8
just cut. That's
billion.
what
There's
we're doing.
8 billion people in this world.
Yeah.
As much as I want to say that this is my soulmate person,
Yeah.
there's 8 billion people in this world.
But
Yeah.
there's 10
Like-
people in this show, and they just somehow.
Well, no,
Did they all date each other and
No,
shit?
no,
Or
no.
they just
They did it. They did a personality check. And
Okay, and then it
saw
just
who was compatible
pairs
with each.
them with
Yeah.
somebody else.
Yeah.
That's
Secretly
what's weird.
That's a
pairs.
whole nother level
Yeah,
of
that's
it.
what's
Like,
weird to me about it. Like the fact that like it's just like you're now in a relationship with a total stranger and go. Like
Yeah.
that's what's
Pretty
crazy,
much.
crazy to me.
And then you see your recent person
Yeah.
talking to another person, and they're actually getting
And some girls
familiar.
were
It's weird.
dating for like what 6 years is the longest
There's
relationship.
4,
I'm
6,
like, what?
3.
Well, I think the
One
whole
reason-
idea is to just like fucking test the waters and fucking find out what you really want. Because some people don't. Some people are just so caught in the fucking mindset that they need fucking this certain thing. This is what they need in their life, and they're unwilling to accept anything
Stuck in
else.
their ways.
And that might be kind of where you're at with it, Bailey, because you do have that fucking mindset too. Fucking you're that
I'm
that
a
settled.
lover.
You're that lovey-dovey fucking romantic that fucking is like, I just need my one girl, and fucking we're gonna make it work. And like,
And that means I'm not going to cheat.
yeah, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Like some people are just built that way, and fucking when it comes down to it, there is no. I was going to say this a little bit earlier too. There is no right person, no one right person for everyone. Everyone fucking has their own.
That's what I'm saying. That's why it makes me feel weird.
And when
Why
it
would
comes
you
down
put
to it,
yourself in that situation?
Healthy relationships are all about compromise and fucking building the relationship. You don't just fucking start out fucking completely compatible for each other. Communication.
I was
baby.
just about to say that.
Yeah.
Communication. You said communication,
One
Katie.
thing that I think is strange about that scenario, like doing it that way, is like the
You
fact
should
that
break up and date me. I don't care which one.
Can we
but-
both date you?
Sure, we'll do that.
take turns.
Maybe you guys want a thruple.
All right, Jeffrey.
Hey, as long as I get to put
what
in
have
the
you
butt.
been sipping on?
Hold on. Right,
Done talking about gay people.
before
It's
that,
like, nah, we're done with this one.
the weirdest thing about that situation to me though is like with like the fact that they're dating somebody else for 3 weeks or whatever. Like I think that it takes like at least like almost 2 months, like when you're like dating somebody new, just for the walls to be let down enough to where you actually know the other person. So like for the people that are like, now I don't want to be with my significant other because of this new person that I met, like I bet if they leave their significant other and then start dating this other person, like they might not even be dating that other person for like another couple weeks, because then they realize like, okay, now I see who they really are. Like that's the weirdest thing about it to me.
There is this one couple on there. This one girl, this mask, she was given the ultimatum, like, to settle down or I'm leaving. But she got with this other girl that was in another relationship, and she wanted to settle down. She was the one that gave the ultimatum. But she was the mask. She was pretty much just saying like, well, you kind of made me change my timeline and my rules. Like, there weren't really rules. You just kind of like, I don't know, it just disappeared for you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Maybe she wasn't with the right
is
person.
a boy lesbian.
A boy.
Just letting you know. I didn't know.
boy
if
It's a
you knew
masculine
what a mask was.
presenting.
A mask is a boy
Female.
I was
lesbian.
wondering why. I was like, I was wondering what that was. So.
Yep, it's a boy lesbian.
It's not a boy lesbian.
That's what they look like.
Oh,
Is
here
it-
we go
that-
again.
that's like-
Katie gets
Are you
on the
saying you look
podcast.
like a
Let's
boy?
talk about different
Sometimes.
lesbians.
Oh my god.
A boy lesbian.
A boy with
so,
tits.
like a butch
I think
butch
she said-
lesbian
I think she
or
said
Yeah.
bull
or-
lesbian.
yeah.
I don't know.
This is probably really offensive, but like
It's not, it's
I
just-
always like
I mean,
think
I
that
don't know, it might be.
Use a slur.
bull dyke.
Yeah, that's slur.
That's why I said it's probably really offensive.
But
But
no,
that's
I know what you're
I don't
talking
think
about
you're
when
a
you
bull
say
dyke
that.
at all. I'm talking about like
not.
the
I
full
do.
on, the full on like short hair, like where they like do everything they can to look masculine. Like that's what I consider to be that's what I've always associated that with.
For sure.
I mean, this mask presenting woman, she was really attractive,
Yeah.
but it's just, I thought she was attractive.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
shit.
you're into that.
Fight.
I'm into
was
women?
like-
fight.
Bailey was like, she
Fight.
looks too much like me and I
Fight.
hate myself.
She didn't look like Bailey at all. But I don't know.
I don't know. It sounds like an interesting show. What's it on?
Yeah, Netflix.
Netflix. Is it like a TV show that is on Netflix, or is it a Netflix original?
I think it's a Netflix original TV show.
Gotcha. All right,
think-
that sounds
yeah, I
interesting.
think it is.
I might have to check that one out. That sounds pretty cool.
It's weird, but
Maybe
it's
I'll
good.
find myself through these fucking
Lesbians.
Well, most of them do.
I'm
Like
not-
they decide like, oh well, I wasn't looking for marriage before I came here, but now I'm like, I actually want this.
Right.
Like I don't know why I was thinking that way.
Right.
So they kind of, it's like a lesson learned for different people or different ways.
Gotcha.
You telling me to shut up?
We do have to move on it.
Okay.
But, I do like that though, because what we've been sipping on, sometimes we get in it and it's just like
No,
it's this. I've been
I
watching
always
this, and then we
try to
move on to
ask-
the next one. I want to fucking.
I
That's
try to
one thing
ask
I want to
about
talk
it,
about
yeah.
next week when we all meet up. What we've been sipping on. I think it's a real nice fucking thing that we got, like segment that we have every week that we need to start expanding more. And you were talking about spoilers. I lightweight think that we should just not do spoiler alerts at all and just actually talk about the show or whatever. And we might even want to do something where like everyone has to fucking start watching the show at least so they can comment on it type thing.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're gonna have a little meeting next weekend.
I'm not watching Godfather of Harlem.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, I probably won't either. Really, I started watching with Wallet one day, and he was showing it to me. I was like, "This show looks so fucking dumb, bro."
I want you guys all to watch Galaxy Quest if you've never seen it. It's on Netflix right now.
I think I saw it when I was a kid,
That
but-
movie's so
Wait, what was
good.
that one
It's so
show that you were
funny.
watching?
So funny.
We're moving
cartoon.
on from y'all's shows. You'll save it for the next
Okay,
time.
yeah,
Save
sorry.
it for next week.
Yeah,
What you been
we'll
sipping
save it for
on,
another conversation.
Hefe?
I've talked about it a little bit before, midst the thing.
the theater
I
of
just
the
want to
mind.
say the episode that came out this week that I watched, it fucking got to a part where it got like really intense and crazy, and like literally my fucking jaw dropped, and like I was just like wide open mouth for almost 2 minutes,
had
and
one-
just floored by what
I had
happened
one
in
of
the
those
show.
moments. I can't remember what
That's
it was. It was
never
like a week or
happened to
two
me.
ago. Fucking, I was watching something and my jaw fucking.
Was
dropped.
it? Were you watching? What's the show you've been watching? Yellowstone. That I was.
No, it wasn't.
Oh.
But that I'm gonna get to that when we come to my part of it.
Yeah, but
The anime you were watching.
Oh, no, not even that. Not even that. But I'm gonna talk about that too. Fucking One Piece. But
like I said,
continue.
what happened in this episode was like the craziest shit that like I couldn't believe it. Like I like immediately like pulled over and rewound it like after it was over because I was just so floored and shocked.
Do you want to? Do you want to get into it at all?
I don't think
'Cause
I don't think I necessarily even could because
Yeah.
it's so hard.
You have to
I'd
get it-
have to describe so much.
And that's
like,
the thing. That's the thing about like your whole entire media that's going to be a little bit difficult because like I'm more of like the creative minded type and like can get into that type of thing. But like even when you've shown me Critical Role or whatever,
Yeah. Well,
I just can't get into the whole theater of the mind.
I
thing.
can get why, like with that, especially because the episodes are so long too that like it takes a commitment like to watch a 4.5 hour show.
And
like
the
that,
thing
like-
about it is too like they have to
episode?
introduce.
Yeah.
Well,
Dungeons
Critical
and Dragons,
Role,
yeah.
Critical Role
Oh,
is people
okay.
playing D&D, and when
Yeah.
you're watching it, like they have to like introduce the entire like scenario that they're living in.
And every
It's
single
the
detail.
storyline,
to
the
an
characters
extent,
and
yeah,
stuff.
to an extent. It's just,
But once you get going and stuff, they have like hours upon
yeah.
hours of these campaigns that they're doing. and
yeah, I
stuff,
mean, in
so.
it's all the characters, role playing with each other. So like, you're getting to know the characters and stuff like that. But
Mixed is different though because it actually
Yeah,
has like
Mixed
a set
is-
story.
It's an
line.
actual TV show, or like
it's,
Wait, it's literally called Mixed.
It's
Midst,
theater of the mind.
MIDST. And,
Oh.
and like each episode is only like 20 to 30 minutes long. Like the longest one has been 30 minutes. Most of them are around like 18 to 20 minutes long. And there's only 12 of them out right now. So like you could easily, there's only 10 of them out. And if you pay the $2.99 a month, you get two more episodes. So like the 12th one is the one that I just had access to Wednesday. And like I said, it was the craziest shit. Like there's this thing in the show called The Fold. And basically like this planet, instead of having like your regular night and day cycle with like the sun going down and the moon, like there's this black like thick like oily like
tar?
It's like a black mist
you can,
type
you
thing,
can
isn't
still
it?
you can still like breathe in it and everything. But
Okay,
like basically
sorry.
what happens is it just comes like horizontally like across the planet, and like but it goes through walls and everything. So like if you're inside, like it will come through like the inside, the outside, everywhere, and it just comes horizontally across the planet. And
It's like
and-
destruction? Like,
well, it's what happens like when you're in the fold, like there's these specific like lights, like lamps that you have to use that like kind of tick and flicker and like and the lights like keep back they're called terrors. And like these terrors can happen to you if you're in the fold, if those like lights aren't around. Like there's one character that like it completely turns his mouth upside down for like the little bit of time that he was exposed to a terror.
No.
Another
See.
character, his entire body is white. Like he has no.
But-
He has no like features. His eyes are white. Like everything is white.
like he turned into a demon
from
or some
a terror
shit.
that happened to him.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the thing that I
It's
love about
crazy.
that type of scenario. Like I like sci-fi and like what's the Amy? What's her name? It's the sci-fi alien show where they came and visit or whatever. Amy Adams is in it. What's that called? Where she's like a linguist. The Arrival.
That's an amazing movie
or whatever. And like, I'm just gonna spoiler alert if you skip a little bit ahead if you don't want to. But like the end of the movie, they find out that the aliens live. They don't fucking have the same concept of time that we do. So we live on a linear time path where like we fucking have the past, future, and present. Or past, future, and present, they essentially live not in that realm. They're able to fucking move between the time paths or whatever.
So
doing a
they're
bad job of
infinite.
explaining it, but like when you have concepts like that and what he's talking about with the fold, that's the type of thing that fucking like really gets me going. And with it being theater of the mind, it's not up to someone else's expression of what I see and how I fucking dictate what it is. Fucking because it's all word of mouth and theater of the mind, I'm able to picture what's going on and make my own conceptual arguments about it.
Yeah, but about Mitts though, like it's also really strange because it's told by 3 different narrators at the same time, and like one of them will just be talking and then the other one will like start the next sentence and just like, but it's like seamless, and they like tell the story like with each other, and then they like, it's 2 guys and a girl, and like they play the different like one of them will play this specific character like every time, and you know, use a specific voice for him and stuff, and it's crazy as shit. It has like music behind it and sound effects and shit,
Super
and
suspenseful.
then it'll have like a visual, but it's not like a full-on visual. It'll just be like a basic thing that like how it sets the scene, and like it'll be like a basic visual of what's going on. But in this episode, it's the first time that like they've talked about what the terrorists do to people in the fold. In this episode is the first time that you got to witness them narrating the terror, like a terror happening on somebody, and it is fucking insane.
So
I'll
is it
show you
scary,
guys.
or is it like a cool like?
It's like
You might
cool,
like this
but
type of
it's
like,
cool,
cinema,
but like
I guess,
frightening as
cinema.
fuck as well at the same time, because they're like describing what happens to him, and like his teeth like turn and like go into his head. They talk about his brain like turning into guacamole. They talk about his tie like turning into some liquid and like melting into
and it's
him.
showing it as they're talking
No,
about it.
no, there's no
it's-
visual.
it's-
So
Oh, okay.
narrated.
you're
There's no
seeing
visuals
this
at
like
all.
in your head, but like it starts out and these 2 people are having a conversation in the folds around them, but there's one of these lanterns on, and this dude's trying to blackmail the guy, like the one guy, and he's just like doesn't give a fuck, like, and he's basically like not giving a shit that the dude's trying to blackmail him, and at the same time he's one of the people that's had terrors done to him, so he's like getting sick in the middle of the fold, and he runs back to his office and he pulls out a needle and fucking ties off his arm, and instead of shooting something up, he's literally pulling this shit out of his body.
Ooh,
that's in his
that's
body at all
interesting.
times, and it's this black like liquid that's like moving and like it's alive, and he's sitting there drawing this shit out of his body, like filling up vial after vial to where he doesn't get sick and pass out.
Yeah.
And then this dude that comes in, and he tried to talk to him earlier in the episode, and dude just like blew him off and walked past him, and then dude comes into his office, like follows him into his office, and dude didn't lock the door when he went in there because he was about to get sick, and you know, he just starts pulling the shit out of his arm, and the dude comes in there and basically tells him like that he's here to blackmail him, and like we're having this conversation right now, and dude's like, you didn't want to come back tomorrow like I asked you to, and like, and he basically just goes on, and then like he finds out the dude's not like gonna let him blackmail. He's like, I don't give a fuck, go ahead, you know, and he's like surprised. He was expecting a different reaction of the situation, and like dude just keeps trying to press him, and fucking the dude that's drawing the shit out of his arm, fucking eventually he takes a nutcracker and shatters the fucking light and just fucking goes at the dude and the fucking terror and fucking kills him. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
It's insane.
Hell yeah. I might need to check the Mist. I'm glad we got into that a little bit fucking more in depth, because that sounds like some shit that I'd definitely be interested in. I could see you being interested
Nuts,
into it.
dude. I'll show
Wall
you
and
guys
Bailey
that
probably won't.
clip if you guys want.
Well,
when
if
we
you
go,
can't,
when we go offline.
You said you can't see any visuals.
No,
No.
well, I'll show
It's
you.
all people
So you're just
narrating.
listening.
It's
Yeah.
like someone.
So that's not horrible.
No,
Well,
yeah.
but
I mean, I
thing
feel like
about
if
it
I
is-
was seeing it while it was being
Right.
told
The
to me,
thing
I'd be
about
like,
it is,
oh, God.
they
the
just
thing
do a
about
good
it
job
is-
narrating it and stuff.
And the thing about it is, it's up to your own interpretation of what's going on.
Yeah,
and
you're getting
when it
the-
comes to
the-
people like me, I know for a fact my mind is going to do way more terrifying things than fucking anything you can put in front of me. Fucking what you created visually.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, I mean that, and I've been watching a different Dungeons and Dragons thing like that I watch on the side sometimes. Dimension 20, you know, College Humor. Do y'all know what College
yeah,
Humor? The
that's
guy,
old. I haven't heard that in a while.
right? Well, you know who Brennan Lee Mulligan is. He's the red-haired guy from College Humor.
Maybe.
Well,
if you showed me, I'd probably know who he is.
He is the like main dungeon master for Dimension 20, and they have been doing like they do shorter episodes. They're like an hour, 45, 2 hours long or whatever. But they did a thing where I tried to get you to watch the one that was on Critical Role where he came over the Calamity one. That Brennan Lee Mulligan came over and guest DM'd in Critical Role's world. And then so they did the reverse where Matt Mercer went over to Dimension 20 and he's DMing like a short little thing in Dimension 20's thing. So I've been watching that, and it's really fucking wicked. The world that Brennan created is basically Candyland and Game of Thrones mixed.
Oh, that
Yeah,
sounds interesting.
So it's super colorful, but
sounds like One Piece.
It's
not that
it's
in-depth.
Dungeons and Dragons, but it's in a world like Game of Thrones with all like the crazy politics and shit. But the different kingdoms are the different food groups. So there's like
Candy Cane Kingdom.
yeah,
and
there's
like,
one. There's Candia is the candy place. There's Ceresia, which is like the bread people. There's Karn, which is the meat people. And then there's Vegetania, the vegetables, and Fruterra is the fruit. And then there's the Dairy Islands, which is like the dairy groups.
It's a bunch of cows on an island.
No, but all the characters, like the dairy people, are like different types of cheese and stuff like
Okay.
that. And then like different, like there's one dude who's like he's like a knight, like full golden armor and stuff, but he's an onion ring, so his head's a big onion ring. It's just fucking like really
cool.
cute and wild. It's a really fucking really epic and cool story. But they're doing like a throwback in that world with the guest DM Matt coming over, and they're doing that. So.
Cool.
I'm gonna have to check that one out.
Yeah, we might let him show you some of the shit. I think that you might be interested in it. Bailey's over here like, oh my god.
Like, fuck, I'm gonna have to watch this.
And we got one more fucking
so
what
tired.
we've been sipping on, but fucking hey, it is what it is. I'm gonna get into what I've been sipping on a little bit. Fucking, I don't want to get into it because it's a goddamn fucking marathon to actually finish it. But I talked about it on the last episode. One Piece gearing up for Gear 5 with Luffy in the fight with Kaido or whatever. But this past episode, his like second in command fucking Zoro just fought King, which is like the fucking second in command of the other guy, and it was literally the best anime fight that I have ever seen in my entire fucking life. If you want to, I'm officially at the point where I'm no longer going to be like, you know what, if you're into anime and you want to watch it, you should watch One Piece. But if you're into anime and fucking you're scared to watch One Piece, make the commitment and just fucking tough it through, because where we're at now is so fucking nuts.
So, how many episodes is that?
This episode was episode 1062.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a commitment, but
Is it like Naruto where it's like so much filler and garbage like type
Actually,
shit,
so-
or is it actually?
I mean, there's some filler,
So the
but
thing
it's
with
not-
One Piece is it used to be like that for the first couple hundred episodes, and people got
so
got
if you
hold up.
just skip that and
Let-
start
no,
watching
no.
it there, you can.
No,
can't
I
do
mean-
that?
You have to learn the
Yeah,
characters.
The thing about it is, and I was making this point in this anime group that I am, this huge, like, there's like 400,000 people in this anime group that I'm in, but I was making the point, I was like, the thing about it is, people will not understand the fucking extremities of this fucking goddamn episode unless they have watched everything leading up into it. Like, it's just become this fucking epic storytelling fucking scenario that has just transcended anime. Like, it's so cool, but like, you got to get into it and you got to watch it. It's if you want to get
1,000 episodes, each at 30 minutes long.
yeah, and keep in mind the show doesn't really get great until like episode 800.
you're really
And
only
it doesn't
talking
get
about-
good until like 300.
You're only talking about like 500 hours.
Yeah,
Maybe more. A lot more.
It's a lot. I remember when I first went back and watched
probably-
One Piece. When I first went back and watched One Piece for the second time and caught up, I think it was on like episode 800, and it took me like 3-4 months to watch it.
I've
I was
probably
pretty
watched
religious.
like
I may be-
3,000 hours of Critical Role. So
Yeah. It's kind of like that. It's an extreme thing. But we're gonna move on from One Piece because that's not what we'll do. The fucking one thing that I do want to talk about a little bit was last weekend, which was part of the reason why we canceled the episode because we had to go to Indianapolis to go watch the Indianapolis 500, and it is the largest gathering in the United States of any people. There's 300,000 people at this 2.5 mile track in Indianapolis, yeah. And we went because like me, Chewy, and Dalton fucking went up to it. And he was really Dalton was the one who really put us on it, even though I'd always known because our parents and like our family used to go every year.
Grandpa used to go to the time trials.
But
every
they
year.
went for fucking Snake Pit, which in the middle of the infield, you wake up at literally the show starts. Jaws went on. No, they moved Jaws to the second show because Shaq ended up canceling. But
It's so depressing.
But they start at 8:00. Our buddy Andre was there at 5
a.m.
8 a.m. And he was there at 5:30 fucking tailgating and shit. And like it's such a weird
insane.
event because you have like a complete difference in the type of people that are at Snake Pit compared to the people
Versus
who
the
are
race.
watching the race or whatever. You have this little show that's going on in the middle of it, and everyone's like this whooked out fucking raver who's there to see house music, and everyone else is this fucking redneck from like the local states and stuff like that there to watch people turn left.
Who the fuck is this kid?
Yeah. And we went there, and like it wasn't my cup of tea when it came to the artists that were playing or whatever. But I went because Dalton bought me a ticket, and thanks Dalton, I fucking highly appreciate you for that. Dalton bought me a ticket and was like, dude, you got to go, and I went, and it was a good time all around. Indianapolis 500, it felt good to, go experience the things that like our uncles and fucking my dad went and stuff like that. It was all around good time. It's a nice little vibe or whatever. It was just a little bit weird because you get up at 8 and the race ends. We left like 20 laps before the race ended so we could like beat traffic and stuff. But like we left at around like 4:00 and we were at Drew and Tibbs' house literally an hour and a half later by like 5:30, 6:00 just hanging out, and like the rave and the show was over, and everyone's just out there getting pissed drunk at 5 in and done by like 5. So
That's so weird.
yeah.
That's straight fucking crazy.
Lightweight liked it. I mean,
I don't like
I
raving
liked
during the day.
I don't.
The lights
But you
and
get a
everything.
sunshine set, like
Well,
no sunshine,
Sunrise.
sunrise.
But that's
That's
Sunshine.
different because
That's
that's
different
going
because
through
you're
the
playing
whole
through the
night.
night
Yeah.
after everything else is done for that day.
Yeah. Like
Yeah,
I
and
like when there's all the lights and shit going on at a rave. Like when like shows daytime at Bonnaroo, I absolutely hate when one of the artists that I like gets like that 5:00 where it's still daylight out,
It's
and I'm like
fucking 100
I'm like-
degrees.
yeah, and I'm like, man, it's so hot out here. I want the lights and the stuff.
It's
like
pretty comfortable
yeah,
that day.
It
It was only like 80
yeah,
degrees.
well, yeah, I just
Cloud coverage.
but
I
the
still
light,
got burnt,
the
but-
lights make it, man.
Fried.
The lights make raves.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I love
Nah.
lasers.
Nah, but that was the cool thing that I found about it because like Bonnaroo's coming up in like 2 weeks, and like people go there on Wednesday night
Wearing it.
and they stay there until Sunday, and they'll stay
No,
until
stay
Monday
until
morning.
Monday,
like it's
yeah.
a whole thing, and like that's a test of human will. This
what
this
we
was
do.
so easy.
Every
'cause,
time
like,
I've gone,
we
that's
went
how
up.
I've done it.
We went up. We got to Indianapolis at about on Saturday, like 6 p.m. We went to this place that because Dalton's a Colts fan, so he's been to Indianapolis many times. We went to this place called Giordano's Chicago style deep dish. And
Giordano's?
they had this beer
had
there
it
called
before.
Beer. It's spelled BIER, and it was like a red ale, one of the best beers I've ever tried. We went there, saw the city for like 2-3 hours. We're in bed by 10 o'clock. Woke up at like 8 in the morning, and we're in the venue by 9 o'clock, and fucking just got drunk as shit, and we're back in Cincinnati by
So,
like 6 o'clock.
I'm curious, not for this specific reason, but with that many people, like all going to an event that takes place one day like that, obviously they do the time trials and stuff, so there's other days like where like people that are there for the race and are interested in that aspect might go for a longer period of time. But like with that many people getting there and trying to get in, and especially get inside the track, like how do they do that logistically? Like, are they checking people like crazy, or are they just
now-
basically like a free for all?
Actually, that's a good question because, like, getting into the event, like, there's definitely traffic, and it depends on what time you're going. But there's also like multiple hours that people are going, and we're not talking about like Paul Brown Stadium, which is a 100-yard football field and like a stadium around it. We're talking about
it's huge. Yeah,
we're talking about it's a 2.5 mile fucking track,
right?
And like so there's multiple entrances, but there is a lot of like slowdown and stuff like that. The one thing that I will say, security was very, very lax, and it was.
I figured that's what I was thinking.
It was almost alarming. Like when we went in, Snake Pit has its own separate gate to go into the show or whatever, and the guy whose line we were in was not. They had the little metal detectors or whatever. Was doing this with the metal detector, just waving people by. Was not.
It would
was
have
not
to be.
checking people at all.
He's like, fuck
That's what I'm
it,
saying.
I'm here
That's
for
why
a
I
certain
asked.
type
It
of
would
event.
absolutely have to.
But
be to
I
get
think that at
many
the same
people
time,
in,
it was the
like, that quick.
170th running of the Indianapolis 500. So, like, they've done it fucking 170 times. I think they kind of have it down at this point. But
Well,
I
and
was a little
because
bit
it's
in
centered
today's,
around a race.
In today's era, I was a little bit alarmed about how lax the security
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Because it's centered around a race, I imagine that they don't have like the like pressure from the local like Bonnaroo because of where it's at.
Like,
in
it's not
rural-
just a festival.
It's in rural Tennessee, so it's in like a super small town Republican place.
Well, this
and
is right in the middle of Indianapolis.
That's what I'm saying.
Not downtown, but like.
Well, the pressure from the local municipalities and stuff to have
Well,
like
I just think
an
that they're-
amplified.
I just think that there's so
searching
many
and all
there's
that
so
shit.
there's so many different routes out of it, and it's such a big complex that they don't have as much of that. Because when you're talking about going into Bonnaroo, it's Manchester, Tennessee. It's this small hick town in the middle of Tennessee.
Yeah, well,
there's
no.
like 2-3 roads that actually lead into fucking Bonnaroo where you do.
There's
So it
only one way
bottlenecks
in.
everything.
There's only one way in.
And also, Bonnaroo, fucking, there's a lot of people, like, they're not worried about people sneaking in fucking heroin or fucking multiple ounces of drugs or whatever. So when you go into Bonnaroo, they actually, like, check you. Like,
Yeah, well, that's because they are worried about people sneaking that stuff in.
So that makes it
That's
go
what I'm
slower.
saying. Well, because it's centered around a race and being in.
And it's one day. You don't have
right.
fucking 2-3 days to check people in. So, yeah. But outside of that, it was a good time. A tire fell off on a guy in an accident, and fucking it almost hit people in the grandstands, and it just went right past them and hit someone's car. Apparently, the pace cars that lead them around when they're under caution or fucking to start the race or whatever, apparently they drove him back in the pace car to wherever he was staying because his car got destroyed.
That's
A
crazy.
fucking tire fell off one of these Indy cars. And
That
just
is pretty
absolutely
cool,
totaled
though.
his car.
You get to
Yeah.
drive home in the pace car.
Yeah, just did
Oh,
that.
it hit somebody's like a.
Car in the parking lot.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's wild.
How is that possible?
Those tires
Dude,
moving at that rate of speed.
You know those
They
cars.
just go-
rubber. It's
those
just gonna
car-
bounce. Yeah.
Those cars move at 250 miles per hour.
It-
Well, yeah,
it-
but it's gonna go over the whole fucking stand and then go in the parking
Yeah,
lot?
they wreck it.
Well, they
went over
have a
'cause
big
they have,
fence.
They have fences too, but it happened to a point where like the trajectory of it fucking flew over. And I guess the fences are designed that if a tire is going to go over, it's going to clear the grandstands. But like,
Back
if you
in
can
the
picture
day-
it, there's like these grandstands, and there's like it ends right here, and the tire where it came up, and fucking there were still people sitting up around it. It came up and just went right by it like that into the parking lot.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
I bet it fucking destroyed his car.
Right.
Well, depending on how it hit, but
Yeah. Well, no, apparently his car was totaled and needed the pace car to drive him home.
yeah,
so.
yeah.
It is what it is. But that was the Indy 500 in Snake Pit. I don't really have much to say about the performances. Okay, I do have one thing to say about the performance. Subtronics, and I've talked a lot of shit about Subtronics. I'm not going to say he threw the fuck down, but he definitely had the best set. But also everyone else was kind of house, and I'm not a huge fan of house. But he
It's
didn't
alright.
play a regular Subtronic set from what I've seen. He played his own music, his newer music, more of a dubby set. It was pretty cool. But besides that, I want to give an honorable mention because me, Chewy, and Dalton during the entire weekend during our downtime watched Dave, and I'm officially caught up all the way to
That
Dave. I
show's
think the
good.
season finale just came out this last Thursday. I've seen up to a certain point. It's a pretty good show. I just find it a little bit too dry. To be honest with you, I still think it's a good show and stuff like that. But when it comes down to it, the humor doesn't necessarily hit the way it needs to with me.
The
But it's a
dark
good
humor?
show. I'm not necessarily watching it for comedy, if you know what I mean. I'm watching it to see this fucking comical rapper fucking rise up through the hip hop community.
Oh,
It
okay.
is dick.
I gotcha.
I'd like to see his dick. Yeah, I want to see it. Because I, too, fucking had a botched circumcision and had to have it redone.
It's
so
Lil
fucking,
Dicky, babe.
Yeah.
That's who Dave is.
Yeah.
That's why I said
It's
that.
Lil Dicky show. Yeah.
Name
But
of
the last episode.
Like that tire.
The last episode. Yeah. Hits your car. Go check on it. But the last episode did end on this like cliffhanger, and it got into some really deep shit. So I'm excited to watch that final episode, which I might do after we leave here. But the other thing that I want to talk about, and I don't think anyone here has watched it, so I'll make it quick, especially because we're fucking moving up to 120 minutes or 80 minutes, so hour and 20 minutes. Yellowstone. Last night, I was watching Yellowstone season 3 into season 4, and I legitimately had to sit up on my fucking couch and watch this episode from fucking the end of season 3 into season 4. Shit goes down. And apparently Dalton told me this weekend that they have 2 spin-offs because
1887.
Yeah, the entire show is about like Yellowstone modern day, but they go through his dad and his grandpa's generation, so all the way back to the 1800s, where apparently the newest spin-off, which is 1887, apparently that's like straight up Wild Wild West old school shit, and then into like the more modern Western that we have today with like politics and stuff like that. So I'm gonna check that out. But Yellowstone is a banger. My parents told me to watch that shit, and I watched it, and it definitely has pleased me.
We have Yellowstone watch parties when the new season comes out, so you should come watch it with my family.
You have
they're crazy.
You've seen it?
I've watched it here and there.
It's a
Watch
really
it at the
popular
bar.
You watched
show.
it here and there, or you watched it?
We watched it at the barn.
Every time we watch it at the barn, I watch it, but I tried to watch it. I watched like the first half of the first season, and I was like, nah.
We watched it at home though.
I'm wondering what's going on. What's going on with that? Because apparently Kevin Costner got fucking some chick that's also on the show pregnant.
Oh fuck!
No,
There
for
goes
real.
the show.
No, for real, it's like a big deal. Like, yeah, it's like just like came out like a week or two ago. My mom was
one of
telling me
the
about
things
it.
that I like about the show so much is just like the absolute like it's this family, and the family dynamic is so shit. Everyone fucking the one-liners are fucking hysterical, and they dig deep.
Who's your favorite character?
They dig deep. I like Beth a lot.
Yeah.
And
She's
I
my
like
favorite,
Rip a
too.
lot. Fucking Rip is probably my favorite character just because he's that kind of like strong silent type that get it fucking done, shut the fuck up and do what you need to. But fucking he got out of the when those bikers pulled up fucking in season 3 and were on his land or whatever, and like the ranchers got out and were like trying to get them off their land or whatever, and they start beating their ass, and Rip pulls up behind him and he gets out with the fucking little Y fucking iron that they have or whatever, and he's like, you need to get the fuck off our land. They're like, well, you're going to beats him over the head. It just turns the whole fucking morale of the fight around. Oh, dude, he's such a badass.
Like, oh shit.
I like him. I like Casey too because Casey's just that fucking war vet.
I like
South Star for that.
Rip and Beth's relationship.
Beth is a badass bitch.
Where Rip just
Beth
walks
is
out
one of
and
the
he's
fucking
like,
baddest
I don't have
bitches
time
in fucking
to deal
cinema.
with you today.
Yeah.
That's
But
how
yeah,
I feel.
definitely
I don't
check
have time to deal with
Yellowstone.
you today.
Definitely
I would
check
have watched
Yellowstone.
it already if it wasn't fucking exclusively on Paramount.
Check it out. To fucking dude, Paramount's free and fucking the ads aren't too bad.
What do you mean Paramount?
You get like
Paramount's
2 ads in a
completely
row every like.
Is it? I thought
originals
Paramount
are free. You have to have only Paramount originals.
Oh shit! Well then I can watch it. That's cool.
Yeah.
Is Yellowstone Paramount original?
No, Paramount. You can watch the.
I didn't know that.
You can. Well, I guess The Office is NBC, so Peacock is NBC's fucking little streaming service, but it's a dope show. Definitely check it out, and then that way you can talk with us fucking about it when I finally get to the end
I've
of it.
been wanting to watch it for a while. I just didn't have a way to watch it.
Yeah, I need to watch that and then Succession. But we're going to wrap this episode up, y'all. Fucking definitely check out all the things that we have talked about and let us know in the comments what you've been sipping on. This has been episode 57 of Your House, Our Rules.
Bye.
Peace!
Bye.